Hello everyone, my name is Dar Rath and I'm the pastor at Faith Lutheran Church in Port Elgin, Ontario, Canada. And each week I bring you a story. It takes about 5 minutes to watch and it's written by famous authors. And this week this story is written by Wayne Rice. And it's in a book called Flowers in the Wind. In the following story we see how one man's perseverance led a whole nation to change for the better. The man's name is Desmond Tutu. Desmond Tutu lived in South Africa at a time when apartheid existed. Apartheid was a system of legal racial segregation. Blacks were considered inferior under the law and treated accordingly. That is the society in which Desmond, a black African, grew up and became a teacher and later a priest. After Desmond Tutu became an Anglican priest, he studied in London. He was shocked at the freedom he experienced there. No longer did he fear that every police officer was a potential enemy, empowered to detain any black person for whatever reason. In fact, Tutu was amazed that the police were actually polite to him. Sometimes Tutu walked the streets of London at night just to have the pleasure of not being arrested. He was surprised that people could speak in Hyde Park on any subject, no matter how outrageous, and be protected by the authorities. One time, when Father Tutu was waiting in line at the bank, a white man cut in front of him. The bank teller told the white man to wait his turn. Tutu was astonished at this, for such an act of justice would be unheard of in his native South Africa. When he returned to South Africa, Father Tutu began a long and often painful battle for the equality for his people. For the next 3 days, he struggled against the racist government of South Africa. Often, however, he found himself struggling against those who believed that the only way for the racial equality in the nation was through violence. Father Tutu, who became the first Anglican archbishop in the country in 1985, was frequently the target of arrests, death threats, and slander. He often risked his life to save those of his own people from mobs who thought they were government spies. Through his nonviolent presence and consistent preaching, hope for the better tomorrow began to spread among the black population of South Africa. In February of 1988, Archbishop Tutu and fellow ministers gathered at a cathedral in Cape Town. There they prayed and began a march for freedom. They didn't get very far, however, for the police arrested them and charged them as criminals. Soon after being arrested, Archbishop Tutu prophesied in a sermon, "We must say to our rulers, especially unjust rulers, such as those in this land, you may be powerful, indeed very powerful, but you are not God, you are ordinary mortals. You have already lost, you have already lost. Let us say to you nicely, you have already lost. We are inviting you to come and join the winning side." 5 years later, black South Africans voted in their first national election. In front of a crowd of 70,000 people, Archbishop Tutu introduced South Africa's first black president, Nelson Mandela. So Robert Coase writes, "Be sure what you are fighting for is worthy. Sometimes people go off on tangents, spending all their energy on things that are not really important. If you're going to spend your life fighting for something, be sure it's something important." He goes on to say, "We need to remember that in the end, good will overcome evil, light will dispel darkness, and love will overcome hate." So, for this week, think of how we show perseverance in our lives. Just something to think about. A wonderful story. Blessings on your day, and thanks so much for taking 5.